When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RowPaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Mike, BJ's internet froze. We are live right now, and he told me that you need to fill.
Okay. I don't even know what the show topics are today.
The show topics today, I believe, are probably, he's got Jeramiah Dickey coming up at some point. And I think you guys are going to talk a little season tickets. And yeah, that was weird.
This has happened to me 3 times on the show. Does this happen on any other with
you know
anybody
what?
else?
It has not happened on other ones at all. It's only you. I'm a potential jinx, I guess. BJ looks like he's a back.
I don't know what's going on, guys. Sorry about that.
Great start to the show. Great start.
Couldn't have happened at a better time too. Literally right 3 seconds before it starts, I realized it says no signal. So can you hear me okay right now?
You are live.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
I don't know.
Now?
It still says I don't have great signal. I don't know what's going on here. So we'll, if it's choppy, we'll see what we can do here. But Bronco Nation News Live here at BroncoNationNews.com. Got a great show for you today. So excited about that. But Mike Prater, Philly, appreciate. Hopefully you said nice things about me while I was getting the internet working there. Sorry for the inauspicious start, but happy Thursday, sir.
Likewise, my friend. I didn't say much. I wasn't sure what was going on. So you had a very frozen face, and I was sitting here looking perplexed with JP on the phone. So we're back. It's happening, BJ.
It was all looking perfect. I was hearing the intro, and then I went to queue up the Jeramiah Dickey interview, and it said no signal, and I just kind of said, oh, bleep. So thankfully the mic was turned off, but we're back, and we're going to try to make this work at least. Looks like I have a decent signal right now, but a lot going on in the conference realignment world, so we are going to hear shortly from Boise State AD Jeramiah Dickey, and then I have some things to discuss with that with you, Mike. But what's your take? I guess nothing's really happened the last couple of days. It's been a quiet couple of days. I don't think anybody expected stuff to happen imminent, the next day, but it has been an interesting little lull here after the news broke that USC and UCLA are leaving for the Big Ten.
Yeah, this is part of the roller coaster that we're dealing with right now, and so much momentum, and that news that started everything. And then there's everybody thinking that things are going to happen really, really fast. Notre Dame was going to make a decision. The Big 12 was going to possibly invite 4 or 5 or 6 Pac-12 members in, and then the Pac-12 was going to have to scurry. Right now, it looks like status quo is the standard of the day. And the Pac-12 came out, I don't know how official it was, but certainly widespread reporting that the Pac-12 sources are saying, for now, we're going to stand pat. We're not going to do anything. The Big Ten doesn't seem to do anything. The Notre Dame has no interest in moving quickly, it appears, and they're the next domino to fall. So I think we are in this lull. Everybody, it's like when I run a marathon, which I don't. You run 100 yards, and then you have to stop. And then you run 100 yards, and you have to stop. And you run 100 yards, and you have to stop. I kind of think we're in that cycle right now, BJ.
Okay, Mike. So I figured out the problem, but I need about 10 seconds to reset it. So when I ask you this question and then I dip out, don't get scared. I'll be right back before you're done talking. But
Does that mean my answer has to be at least 10 seconds?
yes. But just we're about to hear from Jeramiah Dickey. I'm just curious your take on him being the guy to lead Boise State through this and taking nothing away from previous ADs or whatever. But what in the year from Jeramiah Dickey that you've seen so far, what makes you confident that who knows what will happen, but that he is a guy that is the proper choice to handle this right now?
Well, no offense to anybody, but I miss Bob Custer. I really do miss Bob Custer, and I miss strong leadership on this campus. Right now, I'd even say I miss Gene Blameyer just a little bit. I miss the combination, the tandem of Gene Blameyer and Bob Custer. With that said, Jeramiah Dickey, he's doing a fine job. What can an athletic director do right now? The only important thing you can do right now, it's called networking, and that's pick up the phone and start making some phone calls. And I think Jeramiah Dickey is perfectly good at picking up the phone and making phone calls. He's very well connected in the Big 12. I don't know who he's connected with when it comes to the Pac-12, and maybe he's got somebody out there that he needs to talk to, but I'm guaranteeing you he spends a couple of hours a day on the phone. He's got the ear of everybody that's important in this situation. He knows exactly what's going on, and he's a good networking guy. He's a good relationship building guy, and he says and does all the right things. So I do miss Custer. I do miss Blameyer, but I think Jeramiah Dickey, he's not going to screw this up. Can he make magic happen? We'll see. He won't screw it up, though.
Carter Davis says, hasn't been that quiet for me because I've been fighting with Fresno media members the past few days. That's not necessarily true, but I did find it interesting. Did you see the announcement Fresno State made, Mike, where they literally just changed the name and basically announced that they were starting a Lyle Smith Society?
I did not see that. I didn't.
You'll hear in the interview from Jeramiah Dickey where he makes a reference to other schools copying them, which flatters him, and that's basically what he's referencing, taking a subtle shot at Fresno State. I believe, I don't know for sure, but I would believe because they've with some of their graphics they're coming out with and some of the things that they're doing. And I guess before we play the interview, I mean, it's great to have graphics. It's great to do all this public stuff, but I mean, this is all going on behind closed doors, right, Mike? I mean, the AD at the Pac-12 is not going to see some tweet from Fresno State about their market size and decide, oh, we should consider them.
No, they're already on the list, but everybody's out there kind of pushing for it, and it's certainly not targeted for the people that make these decisions. They're way, way, way ahead of the game. So Fresno State, we'll see. I mean, we had Mark Ziegler on the show last week out of San Diego, and he said Fresno's really just not going to happen when it comes to the Pac-12 and expansion. But everybody's got to push the pressure out there and do what they have to do. And, hey, Jeramiah Dickey, it's okay to be a little it's okay to throw a cheap shot around every now and then. I like to do it myself, but there's no such thing as an original idea anymore. We're all just stealing everybody's good ideas, BJ.
Well, it's been an inauspicious start to the show here with the Wi-Fi issues. I apologize for that, but we are going to hear from Boise State AD Jeramiah Dickey. Before we do, I want to tell you about a couple of our great sponsors, BoiseDentistryCo.com, locations across the Treasure Valley. Check them out, full family dentistry. They've got the newest technology and equipment, and they make going to the dentist a fun experience. You can check them out, BoiseDentistryCo.com. I am soon to be a client of United Commercial Insurance. I found out, Prater, I now need, as a business owner, some workers' comp insurance and some other insurance that I am looking to add as I start to hire some part-time help. And so I am working with them, and it's been a very easy process so far. 44 states around the country, United Commercial Insurance can get you a business policy. So check them out online, UnitedCommercialInsurance.com. You can give them a call, ask for Brandon as well. And transportation compliance service. If you're looking to get into the trucking industry, it may not be your first thought when you think of what's a new career change, what's a new job I could get, but it's a great one. It's very lucrative right now. So if you want to become a truck driver, they can help you every step away with all the permits and all the things you might need. So check them out, TCSTranscomService.com. Okay, let's hear. It's about 6 minutes or so. It's a short interview, but we hit on the 3 or 4 key topics, I think, and with Boise State Athletic Director Jeramiah Dickey. And the first question I basically asked Jeramiah Dickey just about crazy times right now, and it's interesting. And from his perspective, how does he see everything playing out to this point?
It's chaotic, but I've said it. I believe chaos brings opportunity, and I'm sure people are getting tired of me saying it, but we're going to control and continue to control what we can, and that's filling our stadiums and investing into our programs and enhancing the fan, the student athlete and staff experience, and I'm bullish on that. it's, in the summer, you sometimes think that things are going to die down and there's a break in action, but this is 24/7, and that's the industry we live and work in. And so it excites me. I'm passionate about it. And I take it very seriously to do my personal and serviceable best for Bronco Nation on a daily basis.
How much of what we see on social media is actually true, and just what for fans just kind of wondering what's going on behind the scenes, what is going on behind the scenes with all this and how it relates to you guys?
I would assume that I'm very similar to most ADs out there right now. It's constant communication with your president. It's calling and trying to stay ahead of what's coming, and similar to what the announcement that just had, there's a lot of silence, and so you're doing your best to run out every ground ball and trying to best position yourself in the process, and I keep going back to the reason we started and did a lot of the things that I said we were going to do when I arrived, and the things that we now have lived out in action, is to best position us, because we have a Power 5 mentality. I know what our brand is, and we're competitive, and we want to compete at the highest level and on the national stage. And so that's, what I'm choosing to control in this process, and making sure that we do everything in our power to best position us for what the future holds.
I know the two conferences, I guess, that you guys get linked to, Big 12, Pac-12, just because of everything else that's out there and what's happening. Can you at least ease fans' concerns at all? Can you say if you've reached out to those, or they've reached out to you, or has there been any communication that you can confirm, I guess? And I know it's a process where you're in one conference and you don't want to say too much, but what can you tell us just about how this is playing out with the two conferences you guys have been linked to?
Yeah, what I will tell you is that I believe everyone knows that we have Power 5 expectations. And they know and understand, just like most Group of Fives, our interest in competing at the highest level. And I'll leave it at that.
Why, I know you can do this behind the scenes, but why do you think you guys are a team that should be considered for one of those conferences? I
think our history speaks for itself. When you look at it, and I love seeing the data, the postseason and the viewership numbers and a lot of the things that ultimately people in the media celebrate and promote for us. I don't feel like we need to beg. I know what our brand is. I know the value of who we are. There's a purpose and a reason I'm here. And that hasn't changed since the day I arrived. And I'm more passionate about that than I was then. And that passion grows on a daily basis. And so I think our past and our present speaks for itself, and the things that we're doing and how others are copying what we're doing, which is, I'm flattered. And that means that we are doing something right, and we're going to continue to work the process, and that's something that I'm really proud of our team and how they've stepped up and control what we can control, and that's filling these stadiums, that's enhancing this experience. That's when you look at the video boards, when you look at four tops and the chair backs, and you look at the playbook for success and facility, goals and aspirations, we are not going to stop, and I'm not going to wait. We are going to continue to push this thing forward, and that excites me, and so when I call around the country and we go to these conferences and I talk to people, you see, when they're coming to me saying, Jeramiah, how are you guys doing this? Or that was really cool that you all were able to do that. I think that speaks for itself, and we're going to continue to live that out in action and differentiate ourselves as we move forward.
And what would your message be to fans? And obviously the uncertainty and not sure what's going on, and we're getting ready for media days next week and fall camps right around the horizon. And there's a lot of excitement, I know, within all the programs. Basketball team coming off what they did. Yeah. But what would just be your message about fans wanting to see you get in the Power 5 or paying attention to this, they're refreshing their Twitter every minute to see what's happening? What would kind of be your final message, I guess?
I think this is probably lost because of my position. I'm a fan. I love this industry. I love our student athletes. I love our sport programs. I want what's best for them. And so I have a tremendous amount of empathy for fans and what we're going through as an industry and the changes so I get it. I understand. I don't take offense to it. I know that there's a lot of interest, and it's not just our fan base. It's collectively those people that care about this industry. And my message to them is don't lose hope. Everything happens for a reason, I'm truly excited and believe in this process, and I'm looking forward to what's next.
I guess final thing, what is kind of a timeline for all this? I mean, are you expecting that there's going to be a lot of movement, and is this going to be a wait and see mode? I mean, how do you kind of envision all this playing out over the next weeks, days, months, years? What's going to happen in college?
Yeah, that's a great question, BJ, because no one saw the USC, or very few people maybe saw the USC UCLA thing happen, or last year with Texas and OU, and it's hard for me to pinpoint, or to be able to tell people this is what is going to happen. I don't know if anyone knows. I know that what we can control is being prepared to pivot and being prepared for if and when something does happen in the future that's going to domino positively for us, and we need to make sure that we are controlling everything in that process that we can. And I'm a fan, like I said, but I don't spend a lot of time worrying about things that I can't control. My job is to serve this community, to serve this institution, to serve our student athletes, our staff, our supporters, and I'm bullish on that. And my hope is that Bronco Nation knows that they're getting 100% of me, and that's all I can promise.
Well, we appreciate Jeramiah Dickey for the time yesterday, and it was good to catch up with him. And I mean, he did, Mike, hit a lot of the phrases on the bingo card, that he likes to use. But I get it. If you're you're an athletic director in the Mountain West, and you may need the Mountain West for a long time, you can't come out and say, yes, we really want in the Big 12 badly. We really want in the Pac-12 badly. Yes, we're talking to him every day, telling him why we should be in. I mean, he has to be guarded in what he says. Fans may not like that. I understand it. I get it. There's only so much he can say. He basically confirmed that, yes, of course, they've talked to them, and they know that we're interested. And, again, it was a lot of the general stuff, but I thought there were some interesting points. And I think one thing, Mike, is the whole thing about, needing to sell tickets, a lot of the things that sound kind of, like from fans, like, oh, here we go, just doing what we can control, that kind of thing. I think that stuff really does matter. And not to say that, okay, they need to sell out every game this year and go undefeated to get in a Power 5 next year. But I do think there is some merit to continuing to do what they can do behind the scenes, continue to add the scoreboards at both ends now, add, some of the things he talked about with the new chairback system they're going to have in some of the seats, things like that. Behind the scenes, they're going to keep doing what they can do. And if and when that call ever comes, that the interest is mutual, they'll be ready for it. What'd you take away from the interview?
I took away from the interview in terms of affirmation, in terms of what we read on social media, what we've been told through our sources, what we know out there, and what other reporters are saying, that not a lot's going on right now. Everybody's jockeying, everybody's speculating, everybody's communicating. We talked earlier in the show about what's Jeramiah Dickey doing, and I said he's on the phone at least a couple of hours every single day. He's just said he's in constant communication with President Trump and whoever else he has to talk to out there. So he's making phone calls. He's networking. He's doing what every other athletic director is doing out there. And then at the same time, he's trying to sell Boise State and get Boise State to a higher level, a higher plateau, which he's been doing since he got here. So I think he's doing the right thing. He's doing the exact same. He's saying all the right things. We have Power 5 mentality. We have Power 5 expectations. We don't need to beg. I wrote that one down. I thought that was kind of an interesting one. Not that it really enlightens me. It's just, everybody knows what Boise State is. So it's not like they have to go out there and tell people. Of course, everybody's interested in Power 5. Of course, everybody thinks they're ready. But Jeramiah Dickey, he puts a pretty little bow on it, and I think he's doing the right things.
Yeah, Carter Davis chimes in on the YouTube channel. Absolutely love the begging comment. Glad he has trust in who we are and that we don't need to do crazy things to get the Power 5's attention. I will say this, Mike, Cincinnati had 2 perfect seasons at the perfect time. I know it's not just about winning. It's a lot more to it. Boise State will get in because of what they've done the last 25 years, not the last 2. But if this does slow down a little bit, like some people think, and I think there will be changes at some point, but if it's not till the winter or spring, selling out 6 home games and having a 10-11 win season certainly wouldn't hurt.
Oh, no, there's, major opportunity. I mean, Jeramiah Dickey hit one of his first comments. I think it was his first answer to your first question. Chaos brings opportunity, and the opportunity is 6 football games. And it's not about 6 sellouts. It's not about the mantra that he throws out there. Absolutely. Decisions will not be made based on what Boise State does on the football field this fall. But if Boise State continues to push national relevance, if somebody, some athletic director shows up at his Monday meeting, hey, did you see what Boise State did last night? Hey, did you see what Boise State's done this month? Hey, have you seen what Boise State's doing this season? It's just more talking points and keeps you relevant. But decisions will not be made based on this football season. So, yes, this is a monster football season. Jeramiah Dickey, I know you want to talk about season tickets, has to pass last year's number of season tickets. He's got to go straight back up. It looks like he's kind of making some progress in basketball. I haven't seen any new numbers when it comes to football, so I'm curious to see what's out there. But, yes, major opportunity, and they have to grind, and go.
Yeah, let's talk about what they can do to position themselves best moving forward. But first, I want to tell you about a couple of great sponsors. Ridley's Family Markets, shopridleys.com, 13 Idaho locations. I frequent the Cuno location often, whether it's the home shopping, the home delivery, the Skip app, all that great stuff. They can, home delivery. It's great stuff there at shopridleys.com, and check them out for the location near you. The Blue and Orange Store, a big supporter of Bronco Nation News. We appreciate them. The blueandorangestore.com. Free shipping for any order over $40. Just check them out online, theblueandorangestore.com. They got all the new, I know this graphic says Father's Day, but they got all the new logos and retro shirts and Nike apparel, all the coaches' sideline gear. You can get it all at the Blue and Orange Store. Get ready for the season at theblueandorangestore.com. If you're in Boise, you can check them out at the Boise Town Square Mall. If not, check them out there online, blueandorangestore.com. PlayTimberstone.com. Had fun out there the other day. Filming some stuff for them. Great course, one of my favorite course in the Valley, best greens in the Valley, playtimberstone.com, and they got a lot of openings, especially in the afternoon right now with some good rates. So if you're willing to brave the heat in the afternoons, get out, playtimberstone.com, book your tee time. It's a phenomenal course. Every time I play with somebody, Mike, that's never played there, their first reaction is, well, this place is great. I can't believe I've never played here before. So the drive's not that far. Get out there, play Timberstone, check it out. You won't be disappointed. And we appreciate them for being a loyal new sponsor, but a loyal sponsor of Bronco Nation News. So you mentioned, kind of the season ticket sales. And you're right. They're at 900 new basketball season ticket sales. The goal was 1,000. When I first saw it, I didn't know if there'd be a chance they'd get it. But they're over 900 new season tickets, which when we get to basketball season, I think is going to be a big deal. We're obviously seeing the momentum there from last season's run. We should have some much bigger crowds at Extra Mile Arena. But as you know, Mike, it's been a decade-long struggle for season ticket sales. Ever since Kellen Moore left, it's been a slow decline every year, the last 8, 9, 10 years. And, they're trying to get that turned around. They're trying to get it to go back up. I get it. The last year of Kellen Moore era, the next year, certainly if you have to pick a year of any where the season ticket sales would be the highest, that would certainly be it. But it's been a slow decline. As I said, I think it was at least 5-6 years in a row where they went down. You've got the numbers there. I know last year they finally got the trend reversed a little bit in the other direction. But that was one of our storylines that you had brought up the question when we're looking at the biggest storylines of the team going into the season was coming off a 7-5 season, everything that's going on with economically, with inflation, just everybody not having quite as much cash. What's going to happen to the ticket sales? And as I said, this ties in perfectly with, the interview with Jeramiah Dickey and just in general needing to do everything they can to kind of position themselves for the Power 5 maybe at some point. What do you make of season ticket sales in general for football games this year and where you think that might be?
It did peak in 2012, right after the Kellen Moore season, to 24,000. It was 7 consecutive years of decline. And then obviously in 2020, there were no fans. 2021 last year, they finally had their first uptick. They went from 16,500 to 17,500. So they grew by 1,000. It was a pretty significant growth. And so they're still 7,000 back from the high of the post-Kellen. The 17,500 last year was the highest since 2004, 18 years when they had 17,537. So there is a lot of challenges out there, BJ, when it comes to season tickets. But I think the opportunity is there. The outbounding and the out-resourcing that Jeramiah Dickey has talked about in the past and getting people out there and getting the information out there and selling these season tickets, I think there's a chance that they can get to 18,000. And that's not taken lightly coming off of a 5-loss season around here. 5 loss seasons here, big turnout. And still, Boise State fans are responding. If you told me that they would have grown their season tickets, and it's still not for sure, but in an era of inflation and coming off that 5-loss season, that would be a significant sign to me, BJ. Let's keep an eye on that number as fall camp starts here in about a month.
And don't forget, I was talking about this the other day with Johnny, but Boise State is 125-13 at home since 2000, but yet they've lost 4 of their last 8 home games. They lost 3 home games last season, and 3 in a row for the first time since 1996. So you're not only are you talking about a 7-5 team, but teams left. Those season ticket holders 3 out of 6 times left with a loss, which is something that really doesn't happen. So the home, the dominance at home, winning at home, obviously is key to a lot of things, but that probably doesn't help the ticket sales either with how they played at home last year.
No, it doesn't help at all. So if they can, you know what? I said if they could get to 18,000, that would be impressive. If they could even sell one more ticket than they sold last year, 17,548, I would be impressed based on those circumstances. I had forgotten about the losing streak, and people and fans remember that stuff. They remember going home and kicking the wall and being upset and struggling to sleep for a couple of hours because their football team had just lost and they were trying to replay it in their mind. Fans remember those kinds of emotions. So the inflation is real, and certainly all the angst on Boise State's football field is real. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens.
Another phrase that Jeramiah Dickey likes to use is the fan experience.
Yep.
Obviously, they have the whole master plan, Prater, that's going to take a decade plus. But I think the some of the things to the football stadium, are hopefully on the fast track if they can get the needed donations to get that part of it rolling. And we've talked for years, the concession stands, the restrooms on the east side of the stadium. I mean, there's still like troughs over there on the east side of the stadium, I believe. And that it's congested when it's full. They added the beer sales now, and that's been a little bit of an issue with long lines and people missing half the quarter. But one of the things, they're trying to kind of do what they can with the budget now until the big donations come in. So they're doing 2 new scoreboards, not just one on one end, but they're doing one at the other end. So you're going to have 2 new scoreboards, which I think are going to be, and that one at the south end zone is just going to be an unbelievable, difference in terms of the appearance of the stadium when you look over to the right, and that's now going to become the bigger scoreboard. But it's small stuff. You mentioned the chair backs that they're going to do a new thing there for older folks or folks that want to have a chair back. And then, buried way down in that press release about the second scoreboard was the fact that they're going to be putting in new TVs at all the concession stands so fans that are waiting in line can still at least see the game. Small things like that where maybe your complaint was you missed the game because you're in line. Well, you know what? They're working on the line, but at least they have a TV now where you can see while you're in line. We've talked maybe trying to pipe, Bob in to, in the concourse or in the restrooms for people that are in there during the game, at least to have the audio going. I mean, there's some small things they can do. I know they'd love to just, redo the entire east side or heck redo build an entirely new 50,000 seat stadium, but what do you make of just the small things they're trying to do and the quote fan experience, how that is impacting ticket sales?
Well, first of all, if I can listen to Bob while I go to the bathroom, I'm going to buy a whole bunch of season tickets myself.
I knew you had a comment coming when I said that.
I couldn't pass that one up. Bob in the bathroom. I'm not sure I'm comfortable with that, but that's pretty standard operating procedure. If you go to other football stadiums, you do hear the PA system throughout the stadium, concourse, bathrooms, little things like that. That's the point of you're trying to make, BJ, little things like that. And I think Jeramiah Dickey is mastering the details. Details are very, very important, and it's not going to happen quickly. It'll be very curious to see what they can do that makes an impact this season, because most of this stuff won't happen for down the road, but I cannot wait to see what happens, and I can't wait to see how the fans respond.
Of course, the folks, that the biggest comment I brought was about the troughs. Toss the trough hashtag. We've got team troughs there from Jordan. There is a question here about the scoreboards. Any reason why there's been no news about the scoreboards? There was reason to believe they would be up this season, but haven't heard anything. The smaller scoreboard, it's the bigger scoreboard, which is soon going to become the smaller scoreboard on top of the football facility at the north end zone. That is expected to be ready by the start of the season. They're going to be able to use the current posts that are in place. That's going to be an easier one to fix. And so, yes, that one is going to be up before the season. The other one is going to be a lot harder than that, but don't forget 3 of the first 4 games are on the road. So I think that in a perfect world, they'd have that ready by October 1st for the Fresno State game. or is it San Diego State first? I forget which one of the two. But October 1st, they've got a Friday night home game. And I believe that's when they'd like to have it ready by, but it may not be till later in the season. That one is tougher because they're having to build entirely new support system and posts, and that's going to take longer. But the other one at the north end zone should be ready. Nothing's changed on that timeline for the start of the season, and then at some point midway through the season for the new big board.
There you go. Write it down. Let's make it happen, BJ.
Hey, we got folks offering you free golf. Need a fourth at River Bay. Well, maybe it's me or you. I don't know. Maybe Bullock will let us know. But he's an avid listener of your show. Needs a fourth. Nick does chime in saying they have a great football schedule as well, Mike. So that's something to remember. You don't have the huge, sexy Power 5 team that you were supposed to have with Michigan State this year, but you do still get BYU in the last year of that rivalry for a while. You get Utah State. You get Fresno. You get San Diego State. I know no one loves the UT Martin, but the collective 6 games, it's not a bad home schedule.
Oh, especially that stretch of Fresno State, and it is San Diego State first. San Diego State, Fresno State, and then BYU. You get all 3 of those at about, a 5-week period. So that's going to be really intense around here. We'll see how the crowds respond.
And Mike, appreciate it. I know you're technically off today and you came in to do this, so we really appreciate your time. And I apologize for the beginning. I can't wait to go back and watch and see if you freaked out or not, what happened. But I apologize for the Wi-Fi issues. Actually, it was not having the Ethernet cord plugged in all the way, so it was an easy fix. But happy to have you on for Thursday, and appreciate Jeremiah Dickey for coming on. I'll get that interview up on our YouTube channel for folks that came in later, missed it, or you can go back and watch it. But appreciate it, Mike, and we will talk next week. I may see if we can flip next week, maybe to Friday. Maybe try to do Jay Thursday since we'll be at Media Days. We'll have to talk to you offline and see if we can make a switch next week, potentially. But with Mountain West Media Day is going to be a little bit of a crazy schedule next week. But appreciate it, and we will. I'll join you guys at 4:00 tomorrow.
I appreciate you, and thanks for having me on. Yeah, 4:00 tomorrow, Idaho Sports Talk, Bronco Nation News Report. It happens every Friday at 4:00 with BJ Rains.
You can listen to Mike. You can listen to JP, Johnny, Bob, the whole crew, 3 to 6 weekdays on KTIK KTIK, and we appreciate our partnership with them. Have a great day, folks. If breaking news comes, as always, we'll be here. If not, I'll be back with Jay Tuss tomorrow, 9 a.m. Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com.